What? No, this can't. This is. Oh, what kind of rag is this? They can't. What?
Kensil Culture, Puppets, Props, Puns, Podcasts.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another session of Kensil Culture. Yes, it's the Pop Culture Magazine, and I'm sitting right beside the man, the stereotype of a Phillies fan right here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Mr. John Kensil of Kensil Culture.
Hey, smelly nerds who are unwashed. It's nice to see you guys back again. We haven't been in here for a little bit because I had an operation. I had a reduction surgery.
Yeah, that nose looks a little bit more up in the air now.
It does. Hey, it's great to be back here with lovely people. I'm wearing my Philadelphia Eagles shirt here because the Eagles are in the Stanley Cup, and I can't wait to see that game and the baseball match. And the Philly Fanatic was scissoring the San Diego chicken, everything I enjoy. And
I had a great time. I went to 3 games this year, and I'm not a big sports fan, but you know what? It was a very encouraging thing. You saw fathers and daughters and families together. You saw bros, and you saw, girls out for a good time and things like that. It was a lot of fun, being in the entertainment business as we are.
Did you stay for the whole game, or did you leave after?
I stayed for the whole game twice, and once was a rain out, and that was my favorite because they were giving away cheap cheesesteaks there, okay? And you know how I am. But no, it was very encouraging, and it was a beautiful day. And when that big bell rang, I want to make an Alfred Hitchcock movie where the killer is running away at the ballpark, and he gets right next to the bell, and then somebody hits a home run, and the bell knocks him over, and and he goes like vertigo.
I have a gong in my apartment, and my girlfriend said, "What's that gong for?" I go, "It tells time," and she goes, I go, "Yeah." I go, "It tells time." She goes, "Really? That gong tells time?" I go, "Here, watch this," and I hit it, gong. And I heard my neighbor next door yell out, "Jesus Christ, it's 1:30 in the morning."
I don't believe that, John, that you have a girlfriend. Okay, that's the part that I don't believe. Okay, but everything else.
I believe that. But
when I first started out, it was gong shows. Instead of open mics and things like that, it was gong shows.
Were you ever on the Gong Show? Any version of it?
No, but I really like the unknown comic. I thought he was,
Murray Langston.
Murray Langston was there for his time. He has a special needs daughter named Mary, and he takes care of her and makes her the big star. And it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, he's a good guy.
I read his biography. It's really interesting. He had military service, the 60s and 70s, and. To be honest with you, as a kid, I laughed at the unknown comic. That was really funny.
I think that he was behind the plastic bag sort of ban that we have now because he never used a plastic bag, did he?
If you people don't know who we're talking about, this guy would put a paper bag over his head.
The unknown comic. A lot of people know him.
He knew every corny joke in the world.
Hey, that's my job.
But he wore a bag. Right?
And I forgot I had my headband on.
I think it was like Newton-John from the Physical video. But he would have a bag on his head, but he would do jokes about the bag. Like, "I just flew in a bag, Dad. That's not my bag." Right? Or, at work today, I got sacked. Right?
Yeah.
But then he put a poster out, like Burt Reynolds' famous Playgirl picture where Burt Reynolds was nude. Well, he's nude. He has a bag on his head, and he has a hoagie bag over his groin. Right? You ever see that poster?
It was the submarine races.
Yeah. But it was just really fun. It's to be honest, God, like that irreverent humor at that time, like the unknown comic, late 70s.
It was the Gong Show.
Same thing with Steve Martin. Steve Martin Just that, like Steve Martin, I always thought that the comedy of him made me laugh because he's such a straight-laced looking white guy wearing a suit and does the most silly, ridiculous things. This guy came out and just pounded you with corny old jokes.
Look, speaking of old jokes, John, and some great comedians, Steve Martin, the unknown comic, Stephen Wright, people like that. But nobody was funnier than the two gentlemen that we were honoring this weekend.
Sacco and Vanzetti.
No, not Frank and Jesse James either. It happens to be, yes, the one, the only, Laurel and Hardy.
If you can see him right there. Steve Laurel and Edie Hardy.
That's and we did. There's an organization that still loves Laurel and Hardy. Look, that still loves Laurel and Hardy, and they have clubs all over the world, don't they, John?
Yes, it's very cool. I'll get back on mic. It's very cool, and it's a huge. In fact, think of who has fan clubs, like the Beatles fan clubs or Rolling Stones fan clubs, right? Theirs is probably the biggest celebrity fan club worldwide. And
they probably made their last movie around in maybe 51 or 52 or something like that.
And by the way, too, that last movie is one of the worst pieces of crap I've ever seen. In fact, it's so bad. I watched a documentary on making it.
Yeah.
They were older, and it was financed by Europeans.
Yeah.
And it was called. It's called Utopia or Atoll. And it's awful. They got kind of unfunnier, but in their prime, and they made silence. So they made silent movies. They made 30 silent movies, maybe even more, and one-liners. They were really hard-working actors on the studios. Their most famous
MGM,
Hal Roach,
Hal Roach Studios, who made The Little Rascals.
What do you call it? Their most beloved movie among their fans was Sons of the Desert.
Sons of the Desert.
And
okay,
it's really, really funny. Well, that's what their fan club's called. But each city has their own chapter. So the whole the international organization, Sons of the Desert. Each city they're named after one of their films.
And the one that in Philadelphia was named the Two Tars.
Yes.
Okay, they call sailors tars because they had. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, tars because of they used to have ponytails in the back, and they would set that with tar.
Oh, I never knew that.
And they would call sailors tars.
Never.
That's from back in Nelson.
Oh, I never knew that.
Admiral Nelson at the Spanish Armada, and he got his leg and his arm blown off, so he was half Nelson.
Father Nelson. Yeah. So they had a dinner, an award show, and it's really neat seeing people that are passionate about comedy and this fan club here. I know some people might roll their eyes, going, this is old stuff. Black and white means it's old. They are brilliantly hilarious.
Brilliant.
And it was
they are sophisticated slapstick.
Yes.
Okay, where. The Stooges are just pure slapstick, okay? And they're in an unreal world. Abbott and Costello, most of it is, vaudevillian and things. They don't have the moments of pathos, okay? They don't have the moments of sophistication, okay, that these guys do. And the timing is impeccable. They made all those silent movies, and so their timing is so much, advanced than the other teams.
It makes like when you said sophistication, I think somebody's at home probably going, Shakespeare. No, it was really it was sophistication. It was like they both played all like sorry souls, always looking for a meal. And the fat one, Oliver Hardy, was like sympathetic, like he'd be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. You go, let me ask you this. And the other guy, Stan Laurel, he developed a thing that's a type of comedy that's even used today, where he'll do what they used to call white magic.
Okay.
Right? Meaning, someone gave him a cigar, and he had nothing to light it with, so he just snaps his thumb as if his thumb was alive, and a flame came out of his thumb, And he lights a cigarette and puts and shakes it like he had a match in his hand. So the heavy set one, he tried and he couldn't do it.
Oliver Hardy.
Yeah, but he had little stunts like that. It was just very neat. Beloved, very funny. If you get a chance to watch her films.
And the Sons of the Desert, they're called that because the club is called that is because the two boys right over here, Laurel and Hardy, they trick their wives and they go to a convention instead of going for a cruise to Hawaii. And Honolulu, baby. And they go to that convention, and everybody has a fez on, okay? And it's real time. So, to this day, this is what I saw, okay, at the Laurel and Hardy convention, okay, the Sons of the Desert, the two tars from Philadelphia. And today, ladies and gentlemen, there is still nobody funnier than Stan and Ollie.
No, we mentioned that Sons of the Desert. If you get a chance to watch it, it's really, really funny.
And the number one.
And that premise has been used in every sitcom since. The Odd Couple, those Raymond, even like Happy Days. They use it. They lie to go to somewhere.
The wives catch them in a lie, and this one, and the.
You know what's funny about this? What mentions here? They want a trip to Hawaii. They told their wives they were going to a veterans convention?
Yeah.
Right? So their wives go, okay, since they're away, let's go catch a matinee movie. Well, before the movie, they showed a newsreel. And you see Lauren Hardy walking down with hula girls
There's a
kissing
parade of all the conventioneers, and they're walking around like, woo, and having a good time. And the wives just turn. And the wives were always such mean battle axes right there, and the, like, yes, dear, like they were always afraid of it. It was, you know.
And how it ended, too. They get home, and they snuck in to their houses. There's, like, so many different levels of this at one, because overseas, a cruise ship, the party. There's a guy at the convention they went to who was lighting firecrackers off at them, played by Charlie Chase.
Their most Charlie Chase, yes. Charlie Chase was also a comedian at the time who made a bunch of movies. He was sort of in the Harold Lloyd school, where it was a little bit more, rich people humor, where Laurel and Hardy was always right there for the people. And because Laurel, the skinny one, okay, right there on top of a thing, he was born in England, and his father was a manager of different music halls, vaudeville, and things like that. So that's how he was brought up. And the chubby one, Oliver Hardy, right over here, which is, I think he had another first name. He was born in Georgia.
And he had a weird, funny accent, because he had a southern, like, but it sounded like a Bronx thing. Like, instead of saying boil water, he'd say burl water. Just a funny. He
was a singer too. He was. That's how he started out, as a singer at a singing waiter and things like that. But he got his first job at a studio, Lubin Studios. Look him up. He's from Philadelphia. Lubin. He was one of the pioneers of movies. So it wasn't a long haul from Georgia to Jacksonville, Florida, where he started out, and that's how he got into the movies.
And it's really neat, because people say you can make money off movies. Stan Laurel here, when he first came to America, who was his on the cruise with him? Charlie Chaplin. He
was Charlie Chaplin's stand-in.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were journeymen much more before they made their greatest hit. Yeah.
I don't like Charlie Chaplin. He had baby teeth.
He was a weird one. You know.
But Lauren Hardy were very funny. There's film footage too.
He had baby teeth.
I think he died.
That would have hurt his feelings.
I think he died in like 1956. The heavy set when he had cancer,
right?
And he went to go visit him. And in the couple of videos I saw, he was skinnier than he was. He died in 1965. Stan Laurel. This is what I mean about like life. He never had his phone number not in the phone book.
Yeah.
People would call him. Dick Van Dyke would call him and talk to him for hours. Another celebrity, Danny Kaye.
He was a comedian's comedian because he wrote most of everything.
Yes.
Where Ollie would go out and play golf and and gamble and have play cards and things like that. He was a real games person. Where Stan was sort of.
You're right. Isn't us too?
And he wrote all day.
They started a pattern of comedy duos as the fat guy and the skinny guy, like Laurel and Hardy was. Then there was Abbott and Costello,
Martin and Lewis.
Two comedy duos. I should have said fat guy, skinny guy. Chris Farley and David Spade.
Yeah, I mean
Right.
the tradition still goes on today.
Yeah.
That movie, I kind of liked it because it brought attention to them. The newer movie with
I really liked it with John C. Reilly and what's his name? But that's a really good one. It's about their last tour when they're making the movie we just first started talking about. They're older, but they're beloved across Europe.
all over the world.
I want to find some information about them, so I typed in the group. Is anything going on this weekend so I could find where it was? Here, there's about 20 events worldwide in Scotland, Ireland, London. They have meetings all the time. People love them. The Monty Python loved them. Benny Hill loved them. British comedians love them till this day. How they inspired them. And I also found out too.
They were the pioneers. They were the ones that went before anybody, and and they were with the pioneers of film also. Hal Roach and Lubin and
this guy Hal Roach.
MGM they went on to and 20th Century Fox. The big studios.
He mentioned Hal Roach. Hal Roach also did Little Rascals and other ones. But but he
that kind of Hal Roach.
It's funny you watch Laurel and Hardy films when you watch Little Rascals. Same music. And my dad, as a kid growing up in Philadelphia, he didn't know their names, and he used to call them Fatty and Skinny.
Well, they had different names all over the world. I don't want to start to pronounce it, but like Laurel and Hardy, and the Germans and the French had a different name.
I had German in school. Their names were the fat one was Dick, D-I-C-H, Dick and Doofus, meaning fat and stupid. That's what it does. Dick means. Dick means fat, right?
Fat and stupid. That's
fat and stupid. Right?
That's no way to go through college.
And,
all right.
But it was very, very, very neat. The little fact. He and I both love facts about them. The famous line that the fat guy said to the skinny one was, "Well, this is another fine mess you've gotten us into." He never said that. He said, "This is another nice mess you've gotten us into. Not fine. It's nice." And also too, related to the Three Stooges,
yep,
they were nominated for an Academy Award for a film called The Music Box, which you had to see.
The Music Box is one of the funniest 10 minutes. It was one reel, two reels.
Yeah. But they have to bring up a upright piano.
It's a very simple premise.
Oh my! It's like 300 steps up a big hill, and they keep dropping it, going back up and down, up and down. It's very funny. Do you notice? Remember what's bouncing the steps? They played chimes like as opposed to the keys bouncing. But when I found out, that was the same steps from the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
When they had to bring ice up the steps, and it was in on the third thing too. When I lived in California, I found them.
I found them too at a different time. You ask about that. That was one of the first things that I asked about. Is can I see that? I wanted to see Grauman's Chinese Theater and things like that. But that was actually on my list because it is so funny,
iconic. Oh, also too, it looks absolutely nothing the same. There's like trees and houses next to it. Wait, you know what someone told me though?
What's that?
There's two sets of steps. Right. One might, even though it looks exactly like it, just whatever.
Why don't you tell me? But you've been on the 12-step program, haven't you?
I like the elevator dance.
The elevator dance.
No steps.
No steps. Oh my goodness. You know what they did at the? They showed a couple of the movies and at the convention at the Sons of the Desert. They showed Putting Pants on Philip. Okay, that was, and it was a silent, and it was and a lot of sight gags, and They also did Going Bye-Bye, okay? This was 2 reels, and it was Mae Bush. You know who Mae Bush is?
I don't want to have a dirty podcast.
I know, and we're not rough around the hedges, okay? But Stan and Ollie leave town to avoid a criminal.
Oh.
Okay, and that's when they...
At the end of the film, the criminal says he threatened them. He said, I'm going to take your legs and tie them around your neck, right? So in the end, he goes,
I'll get you.
And at the very end, it opens up at the end, the last scene, they're sitting on the couch and their legs are tied around their neck.
They look like pretzels, folk,
Yeah.
okay? And you know all about pretzels. Didn't you used to sell them like off Cottman Avenue?
Oh, I did. And I could urinate in the woods.
Yeah, that's a lot of crooked dough. But John called it even before, and I was proud of it. And their last one was Pack Up Your Troubles, 1932, which is about World War I and those going into World War. And
wait, is that the one? I didn't watch it because I was packing up. Is that the one where they're in World War I, right? And the sergeant tells the skinny one, "You stay on patrol here in the trenches, right?" Well, the war ends, right? And 20 years go by, right? And some farmer's doing his field, and he sees Stan Laurel. It's a big worn-out trench. He was just walking for 20 years, right? And he goes, "Yeah, the war's over." He goes, "No, it's not." He goes, "Yeah, it is." And they bring him back to like a parade, right? It's ridiculously over the top and surreal. And so he sits on a wheelchair, just crosses his legs. You can't see anything. The fat one sees him and thinks he's an amputee, and it's ridiculously funny.
I know that one. That's a different one. This one was but that one is even funnier.
my God.
When he and isn't it ironic that there's a couple Japanese soldiers that I guess they're so isolated on those little islands out there in the Pacific that 20, 30 years later, they did come back, and the guy was still defending his ground.
Yeah.
For the emperor. And, but this one was kind of corny in a way, but it was, it touched the heart and had a lot of military humor. And they had to find the little kids, because their friend got killed, in World War I. And he had a kid, and Laurel and Hardy take the kid and they try to find it. And it's very, it's heartfelt too.
No, it's neat too.
The kid's kind of corny.
I know this episode is going a bit long, but we're going to break it down to two 10 minutes. We'll split it in half, right? We grew up closer to New York. I grew up in Philly, but every year they would show a Laurel and Hardy film called March of the Wooden Soldiers.
March of the Wooden Soldiers, in which I had my favorite song from them. Never mind, Bo Peep, you will find your sheep. Okay, that's that's a big song in there, and Bo Peep is in it.
Oh yeah, it's all the kids in fairyland. Big Bad Wolf and not Snow White, but all the fairy tale stories. They remade it in the '60s called Babes in Toyland. Right, or March of the Wooden Soldiers. Wait, which one was?
Babes in Toyland. They're both based on Victor Herbert, but the old.
But as kids, that was our favorite Christmas special. It only aired the Wizard of Oz around Christmas time. Very funny and neat, and the scene
stop motion with the how big was that in the 30s? And it looked like these soldiers were really marching. And
that was neat. Or wooden soldiers marching.
But what happens is that Cyrus, or the bad guy, he lets out the boogeymen. Okay,
and it's really scary.
And the boogeymen are really hairy, sort of
werewolf guys.
Yeah, and the werewolf sort of looking, or the ones from the Journey to the Center of the, or
Time Machine.
Yeah, or from the Time Machine, the Warlocks. Yeah. I mean, it was really scary when you were a kid, and they used to beat it. They were in Santa's workshop. And they used all the toys to get it, all the toys would.
It was neat, the
shoot stuff.
Pop guns and and marbles on the floor, and they trip them up. But it was a fun kids movie. But
I still liked it as an adult because you could because they're always funny.
It's ridiculous, and there's no also neat about the Laurel and Hardy films. A lot of those what do you call the extra character actors are also in the Three Stooges. Billy Gilbert and other people are very funny. Oh, there's a movie called The Hollywood Party where Jimmy Durante with the big nose, he put a failing star, and they want to have a big giant Hollywood party for him. And because he had a big nose, right?
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he made a movie called Schnarzan, where he played Tarzan, right? And he invites all of these Hollywood celebrities to a party. The Three Stooges are in it. Laurel and Hardy are in it. I think the Marx Brothers make it. Not all together. It's only one scene, like they walk by. But it's a really neat piece of Hollywood history.
But Jimmy Durante, I just saw last night, I was watching Things That Aren't There Anymore, Hollywood, and they showed all the pictures they had in the Brown Derby. The Brown Derby was a big restaurant at the time. And everybody had their character up there. But Jimmy Durante had two, okay, one for his face and the other for his nose. So they had a separate.
It kept going to 2 frames.
So that's about it?
Yeah, I think that's it. We're going to break this one down to 2 episodes. Holy moly. Yes, but people, that's it for this episodes of Cancel Culture. I'm John Kensil. Here's the legendary Wid.
I'm the legendary Wid. And do we have anything to plug?
Yes. In November 18th at 1675 in Trevose, the Ridges, Wid is filming his special. I'll be on it too. I'm going to be playing one of his props.
Special guest.
Yes.
Special.
I'm very special. But November 18th, check us out. There'll be a link in the comments.
A link in the comments.
Hit share, tell your friends. Go Phils.